I mean, we can talk on Bassey's surprise showing up for workout.
Yeah, I mean, the Bessie thing, that was uh it was cool. I mean,
um,
I like seeing these clubs doing stuff like that on Twitter. It just seems like uh, people have been
Giving
taking it seriously, but then also like having good content, like Basti streaming. I already see Lewandowski with his daughter earlier today.
right.
Um, I like that content. It's almost like Twitter has actually been more active now, which kind of makes sense, I guess, with people being at home.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of cool videos. I guess you've got the quarantine challenge with the players dribbling the toilet paper rolls.
Who was that defender that was just like, nah, and just did the slide tackle?
Oh, I didn't even see that.
He did like one juggle and he was like, nah, and just dropped it on the ground and did a slide tackle. You see that Hertha is keeping an eye on Karius?
No, I didn't. I was gonna ask you too. The feeling behind it. I heard a lot of people saying that like this is almost open a transfer window early. Like
Yeah.
since there's this dead time, a lot of these agents are going ahead and talking and working on deals. But then at the same time, with teams taking such a financial hit, um, it's weird because they're talking about these deals, but then it's also like, now you got to understand we don't have the money that we were working with even just a month ago. So
Right.
you're
Well,
gonna have to meet me halfway on a lot of these.
yeah. I mean, Herbert came out. Things will certainly not be like before in terms of the transfer market and transfer fees. It's quite logical. There is less income, less money can be spent, I'm assuming, and also hope that that reason will reappear in the market. Um, that's from that's what Sky reported him during his interview.
Yeah.
So
And I think also the effect of all of this, well, again, like the effect on particular moves, um, because we can definitely talk about Havertz, but I think that you could break down transfers and say, who does this help get out of their current situation, and who does this help, lock them down potentially for a longer contract. And I think for Kai, my sense is that things lean more toward him staying at Leverkusen now because of the situation.
right, yeah, a lot of clubs are talking about um, re-signing guys. Who was it? Oh, Atletico's talking about re-signing um, Thomas.
Yeah,
But the buyout clause is only like 50 mil right now.
right.
And so they were going to re-sign him to like 2025, but put like 100 mil buyout clause on him.
And that's exactly what they're talking about with Kai, which I mean, it makes sense. That's what they want from him anyway.
Right.
They're not forced to sell him right now, and I just don't think anybody's gonna pay that in this environment
No,
because
I
we
mean,
have no idea how much longer this is gonna last.
yeah, it's crazy to think like there's so much. I mean, you talked about it earlier about how like this was going to impact people spending money because it's going to eat up a lot of people's money. And to be honest, there wasn't a huge market of clubs that could spend over 100 mil on a player.
And we're willing to. The clubs that did, like your Bayerns, weren't necessarily convinced on spending that, at least on Kai.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're already debating whether or not to spend that on, a couple of players.
Yeah. So I mean, with that situation, I think, which I actually like. I like that he would stay. I think that he's suited really well in that system, and I think it gives more time if Bayern really do want him.
Right. I mean, out of all
Go
the
both
guys
of
that they
them.
were talking about getting, Leroy, Sané, and Timo Werner, he is the youngest by like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So even if you said, we'll buy one of those two guys or not none of them, right, and then we have to hold off and wait for Kai for later, it's not as if he's going to be suddenly 28. He
No,
gave him
no,
4 years. He'd only be as old as Sané is now.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what's insane.
it still has so much development, and I think that he's got a better chance of developing still at Leverkusen, which is kind of a similar situation with Nubel. Part of me was like, I hope Nubel goes ahead and re-signs with Schalke, and then we can pick him up later
Yeah.
for that very reason. No, of course, I guess just a good segue into the birthday boy.
Yeah.
Um, and all of that with Neuer going on today. What's your feeling behind all of that?
I don't. I don't feel like he's. I don't feel like he's going to Chelsea. Like the rumors of him going to Chelsea, they have to be able to sell Kappa to be able to afford that. So I don't think he's going there. Plus, he's made it very clear he wants to win another Champions League, and Chelsea can't guarantee Champions League right now. Like, if you want to stay in the Champions League, that's not a club you would go to. Um, so I mean, just running through options, he wouldn't go to Barcelona because they already have Ter Stegen. And Ter Stegen actually likes Barcelona. He's not close with a lot of his teammates, but he's not going there. Um, Courtois actually played well now recently for Real, and they're not going to spend money on him when they have Courtois and they're trying to spend money on Pogba and Mbappe. Um, Juve has Chesney, and they're happy with him. And you go to England, he's not going to Liverpool over Allison. He's not going to City over Ederson. So where do you go after that? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, as far as personnel wise, I agree that Chelsea would make the most logical sense, just because everyone else has keepers, like you said, that they're satisfied with.
right. I mean, it's
But
very clear that Chelsea's not satisfied. Well, at least Frank Lampard's not satisfied with Kepa,
yeah,
and they're not satisfied with whatever his backup is or whatever. But now you're telling me that you have to also sell Kepa to be able to afford it. Like, I don't know. I think it's Neuer. He's still, in my opinion, the best keeper in the world. Pay the man his money and move on. Like, I realize that the issue is like the wages and the length of the contract. But if you've already signed a guy to be the next guy for you, and you already have the guy after that and Fruchtel, if for some reason on the back end of that contract, he's not able to meet the standard or whatever that you think he should be at, you've clearly already got other options. Like, you're going to eat the money, but like, you're not going to suffer performance wise if you have two guys already set up for backups.
yeah, it's classic Bayern. I appreciate this in a lot of ways because you don't often get in these situations because of the 1 year contracts. It's like it's it's very well understood that this could be their last season, like your Robins and your Ribéry. When you extend them 1 year, you say, okay, this could be it. You know, you might get another one if you really show that you're up to
Right.
par. Versus giving a guy, four, maybe not five, but like a 4 year contract when you know he's reaching the end of his road. I've liked the way that Bayern has handled it, and then also with just players like Schweinsteiger who knew the right time to get out,
Yeah.
or Philip Lahm. I still argue that that was his best season, the season before he retired, and knew that it was the right time to hang it up. Versus these clubs that hold on to old guys, and you see that they're just. I mean, Barcelona, didn't make moves
Yeah. I
to
mean, their
revamp
whole
that
team,
squad. They waited until they were too late. Yeah,
and even Real is still struggling with some of that.
yeah. So I appreciate that side from the Bayern aspect, but on the other side, I was fearful about this generation of guys, particularly when you get guys like Lewandowski who are coming in and kind of breaking the mold. He's getting paid. They really fought to get him to stay.
Yeah,
They
I
went
think I
out and
saw wages wise, he's like ninth in the world.
yeah.
Which, I
Someone
mean,
brought up a good point. Thiago, his wages are higher than Alaba, and Alaba's been there, forever. And of course, Thiago deserves his money too. But at the end of the day,
if you want to get into Alaba.
yeah, it gets dicey. So it's a tough situation. I've definitely been fearful of this day. This day would come. I think they're going to work it out. I think Neuer's just too important to the club, too important to Germany in general, to
Yeah.
lose him right now. But then it gets tough because then you've got Alaba as well. And you think, okay, between the two of them, if we can only hold on to one, who do we keep? And that's where it gets kind of tricky for me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you really broke it down as to you have to pick one or the other, then it gets really sketchy at that point. I mean, Alaba's been underappreciated and almost taken for granted, I think, almost his entire career. I mean, he's one of the best, if not the best, left backs. He's been Bayern's best center back and most consistent player. And he's shown that for his national team, he's more than capable of playing as that left center mid, right? And I think we talked about it earlier. we think he'd be better as a midfielder than Kimmich is.